What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Rock Chalk Film Room. I'm Shreyas Laddha, and I'm my co-host Carter Stanley, and we're talking everything Jason Bean against Texas because I know that was the one everyone's been talking about. The good, the bad, and the ugly with Jason Bean. But I'll get Carter get started right away.
Yeah, thanks, Shreyas. Yeah, obviously, it's safe to say I think we all expected Jalen to play, and that news kind of threw everyone off. And it's tough for Jason because going into the week, he obviously wasn't thinking he was going to start, but that's also one thing that they always say about any position. You got to prepare and you got to go through the week as if you are the starter. That way, when things happen, because they certainly do in the sport, you'll be ready to roll. But with that being said, we'll get going on this first play here. All right, so we got 3rd and 16. Obviously not an easy down and distance, but what we'll get here is a motion. I'd say maybe leaves the pocket a little bit early. As you can see right there, it's pretty clean, but a guy like Jason with his speed, you don't really blame him for getting out and, kind of starting the process of, all right, I could either take off and run, or I could just clear some space and get a different angle on a scramble drill. But runs out here and, cuts it up right here. 3rd and 16, you like to think that we could, either cut it back towards the middle of the field and get some yards, and might not get a first down, but you're going to be right there and going to be right by the 40-yard line. Give the coaches a good decision to go for it on 4th down, or at least just kind of cut this a little bit closer. But that's the unfortunate part of it. It's also early in the game, backup quarterback. You got to protect yourself. So, tough situation right there.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of look at that and just kind of going back to it a little bit. Do you feel like he was doing this a lot? I mean, you're famous for running the ball and trucking guys. Did you feel like he was skittish in the pocket a little bit? Because I felt like protection from KU's offensive line was as good as I would have expected, especially against a big front seven Texas. And I think I looked back and I saw there wasn't a lot of sacks or QB pressures. I felt like there was a lot of just not being comfortable, and then him leaning on his legs a little too much. And when he did use his legs, he didn't go out and go for the first down. I mean, like, you're a quarterback, you're a guy who would run the ball and truck guys. Do you think when's the right time to go out there and get that extra yard? Was it too early for him to kind of just say, like, F it, I got to go, make that big play?
Yeah, no, I think I fully agree with everything you just said. It's to be honest with you, it's a tricky situation because when you're playing the number 3 team on the road, ranked opponent, I would personally say that every time is the right time to go for it and try to create a spark for your team. But at the same time, he is the backup. You already know you're 1 QB down, and not quite sure what the situation behind him looks like. So it's a mix, but I would agree with, I think he was getting off of reads too quickly and kind of evading the pocket a little early. And, definitely on some of those runs where it was a design run and he is running it. I think there were some times where he could have knifed it up and gotten the first down. But, again, just kind of a tricky situation since he already was the backup. But, yeah, second play here, we got this was huge. Texas goes right down the field on their first drive of the second half, and you got to answer. And, we did exactly that here. So Jason Bean, this is a great job staying in the pocket and delivers a perfect pass on the post route to, I think, his best friend here, Mr. Wilson. So, love to see that. And we'll get a different angle here, but once we get behind the ball, you're going to see that, here we go. Both those safeties are kind of low. They're like 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. And if you look off to the safety on the right, the strong safety, he's kind of keying Jared Casey. So he has no clue that Wilson is coming on the backside of this post. And I'm kind of almost confused by the safety to the field because, like, as you'll see here, he's just very well. Yeah, that's the nickel there. He's keying the QB, but the safety's just very flat-footed, and I don't know what he was really expecting. Whether it was just kind of like a curl route, maybe a dig route, but his inside leverage, so he looks like he's in pretty good position for a post. But as you can see, Wilson blows by. And like I mentioned earlier, that safety on the right side, he just has no clue. And, probably he doesn't even have responsibility for that. So this was, great throw. This is exactly what you want. Stay in the pocket, deliver a great ball.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that was an instance where you saw Bean do a good job of, kind of evading a little bit without completely leaving the pocket, which he didn't do, I think, as well as he should have throughout the game. And I thought it was interesting. Do you feel like that was a little bit of a blown coverage on Texas's end with Wilson, because he was completely wide open there? Like it seems like there was a little miscommunication or something going on. I don't know what happened there.
No, I agree. Something seemed off. I didn't, really have full time to review, what coverage it was, but it kind of looked like some version of cover 4, which you get the corners on the outside. They're covering the outside quarter of the field, and then you get the safeties in the middle. They're covering that middle of the field. And, like I said, the boundary safety, he wasn't even looking for anything in the inside. So, yeah, could have been a blown coverage, but I think it was just a great play by our offense taking advantage of, what the defense gave them. So this is our last play we got today. It's 4th and 1. I think we all remember this one. Definitely unfortunate. I personally don't hate the call going for it at all. I love it, actually.
Yeah.
But, the play call, all in all, I do like the play call, and we'll see here in a second why, but it's tough. 4th and 1, not even one full yard. These coaches, honestly, they probably got 50 different plays they could run from here. And, a lot of people are going to say, well, yeah, just do the tush push, get under center, do a QB sneak. And, going up against a defense like Texas, it's, not necessarily that easy. They got some bigger guys. And quite frankly, I don't know if we're winning an arm wrestling match against them. So, I don't hate the call here, but you'll see potential false start by the running back. This is just my thoughts personally. I'm not complaining. I want to put that out there. But when I was watching this live, I was like, man, like Highshaw is like leaning forward. And, obviously 4th and 1, he's anxious to potentially get the rock here and try to make something happen. But he just kind of, I don't know. I'm done with it though. But you'll see here. So there's actually 2 quick reads that Bean has to make here. So I marked that he's reading the end. That's actually going to be the second read he makes. The first one is the defender inside of him. I think it's number 88. And like we covered on last week's episode, ball snapped, 88 is coming in unblocked. That's going to be the read for Bean, whether he gives it to Highshaw or keeps it to the perimeter. So comes free. This would be a keep read by Bean, and then instantly has to flip it out based off that end man on the line of scrimmage, that defensive back that's right there. As you can see, if Bean is able to make that pitch out quick, I mean, look at the top of the screen. You got receivers running these defensive backs off, and, definitely a good look there. This is tricky on both the QB and the running back. We'll get a better view here, but, for the quarterback, he's trying to make this read and ride the mesh as long as he can just to, make a good read. And Highshaw, at the same time, it's 4th and half a yard. Like, he's got to know at some point, like, all right, am I getting the ball? Is Bean going to keep it? Who knows? So I think what maybe happened here was Highshaw kind of is squeezing the ball right there and maybe trying to pull it. And, unfortunately, this is just part of it, that it happens sometimes. It's never fun, but, just stunk.
Yeah. So do you think it was a miscommunication, and you think initially Bean was probably trying to pitch it backwards? Because, like you said, he was wide. RB was wide open right there to get a first down, and probably a lot more because it didn't seem like anyone was on that left side of the field except one guy.
Right.
And it's really interesting because do you like is it just hit in his hand and a fumble happened, or maybe Bean didn't make the?
I think it was. Yeah, we'll see here. So you see number 88. So Bean has his eyes. Ooh, interesting. It looks like he's actually got his eyes on the end man of line of scrimmage, which honestly should have made it even easier. But I was thinking 88 was the read for this mesh exchange here, and like right there, it's like looks like Highshaw has it pretty secure. Again, mentally, he's got to be like, all right, I'm getting the ball 4th and 1. I just got to go. But then Bean's probably seeing something he likes here to try to do a last second pull and get the ball back into his possession. And then if he does that, you see the arrow and the pitch read. Mm-hmm. That's who he would quickly, because he's already crashing in hard. I mean, shoot, there's a point or, there's a chance that Bean doesn't even have to pitch this ball and he carries it himself for an easy first down. But, yeah, just tough. Obviously, a crucial point of the game and very unfortunate play.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was one of those things that it didn't look like, and it wasn't Jason Bean's best day or best outing or anywhere close to it, and a lot of that was probably factored in with the fact that he found out 30 to 45 minutes before against the number 3 player in the country. But when you look at Jason Bean's play as a whole, and you look at Jalen Daniels' play as a whole, and obviously Jalen is a star quarterback, with injury issues withstanding. Do you feel like what's the biggest difference between those two guys, and how does that affect Kansas's ceiling? God forbid if Jalen can't go, for a couple of games or the rest of the year.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. I'd say the main difference that I see between Bean and Jalen is just confidence and conviction. I think I think quite frankly that Jalen reads the defense better. He goes through his reads better. He'll get to the 4th read and shoot, if that's not there, he's running scramble drill and creates things on his own. But, I think like we saw in the game and, maybe like we've seen in the past a little bit, I think Bean sometimes he'll leave the pocket a little bit too early and just not trust the full concept of the play and, go 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way through the reads. And kind of same thing with running too, as well, because Bean, I really think he might be the fastest guy on KU's roster. He can absolutely roll. Like there's no denying that. So, and it's incredible to watch, but I think there's some times where he's maybe trying to protect himself a little bit too much. And, it goes a long way to show those guys on some of those runs, 3rd and 4th down, where, you're maybe keeping it in bounds or fighting for extra yards or, maybe running through a guy. But, I think there's times where you got to do what's best for the team. And, sometimes that comes at the cost of putting your body on the line.
Yeah. I mean, I think on that note, it's the perfect time to kind of end the episode. And we appreciate you guys watching every week and giving some suggestions. And we've been having a lot of fun doing all this. So it's been great.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys.